a cold December morning in 2010, I packed the final essentials. One drunk cat who took his sedative, and one screaming cat who spit hers out, into my Toyota Corolla and started the 10-hour journey to Los Angeles. I only brought what could fit in my car: clothes, books, cats. I had to take the 395 freeway out of Reno instead of I-80 to the 5 because northern Nevada had just had a massive snowstorm, and I wasn't sure Carolyn the Corolla could make it over Donner Pass. We all remember what happened to the Donner Party, right? I wasn't gonna let a little snow stop me and the kiddies from living our best life. In the months leading up to my move, I had friends, family, and even some colleagues tell me they couldn't believe I was moving 500 miles away from home all by myself. They said they couldn't do it. Every successful event I've ever had in my life came from having a courageous choice. Courage is one of the ways I define success. So someone has to say it. Do the scary shit. I found and fell in love with ancient Chinese medicine and acupuncture 5 years prior to that trip, when I was still an undergrad working on my accounting degree. I'm going through the encyclopedia of careers, accounting, then acupuncture. Next, I'll be a bartender. One major thing held me back from immediately pursuing my life's purpose: a man. My high school sweetheart was totally on board to support me and my dreams of becoming an acupuncturist, as long as I supported him through college first. And then he wasn't. He dumped me early in 2010, after nearly a decade together, because we could never get on the same page about having kids. I am building an empire. He wanted me to bear him a basketball team. For nearly 5 years, I waited for someone else to dictate when I could start my life. I was torn between pursuing my dreams and staying in the safe zone. And it's really uncomfortable sitting on a fence. This wasn't the first time my plan to live my passion got derailed. My first love wasn't a man or a boy. It wasn't even a person. My first love was music, particularly playing the trombone. I know, you're looking up here, trying to estimate my height based on that large Sioux sign behind me. I am 5'1" on a good day, and at full length, my trombone is taller than me. I had visions from the age of 12, performing on stage, bright lights in my face, a packed audience in the seats, surrounded by one of the best symphony orchestras on the planet, the Boston Pops. I naturally have a lot of talent. I could effortlessly and successfully compete for first chair without even practicing. That was my hang-up, though. I didn't like to practice. I liked to practice with the group, and I loved to perform. So I was lovingly pushed towards a safe job with a safe salary. And each time one of the influential people in my life suggested I find a path to that safe job, it was clear I wasn't gonna make a lot of money playing with the Pops. So I thought of the richest person I knew at the time, my uncle. He has a degree in accounting, and he was number 2 at the nicest casino in Reno. So I switched my major to accounting. I stayed in the safe zone. I kept playing small. And I still didn't have a ton of financial success. Don't get me wrong, I had an okay salary. I was home by 5:30 most nights. but my life was lackluster at best. To get back at one of those influential people for ripping away my dreams of performing with the Pops, I sold my trombone to the highest bidder on eBay, all for it sadly to be returned to me after being damaged beyond repair in transit. My beautiful Louis, he was just a crunched hunk of metal. The trombone I have now, no matter how much dust she collects, will never be sold. Back to 2010. With the pieces of my broken heart, I wanted to serve my ex-boyfriend some bitter revenge lemonade. And this time, it would go better than selling my precious Louis. I was gonna move to LA and show my decade-long boyfriend just how successful I could be as an acupuncturist. So, I moved myself, my clothes, my collection of books, and my cats to Redondo Beach so I could attend Emperor's College in Santa Monica. You may be wondering why I chose to live 22 miles away from school. I thought it was gonna take 30 minutes to get to school and back each day. Yep, I was wrong. Serendipity, on the other hand, had a different plan. My ex-boyfriend and I stayed in touch at a distance for the first 6 months that I was in LA. When he disappointed me for the final time, I swore off dating so I could concentrate on school, while my Redondo Beach roommate decided to introduce me to a sexy firefighter. I was so scared to open my heart up to someone new. But by having the courage to let someone else in, I got to marry that sexy firefighter. I can be a bit of a brainiac, and I really love statistics. I've had some oddball jobs before. Hell, I have an oddball job now. I was curious just how odd my job is, so I ran some numbers. In 2015, when I started my practice, there were under 35,000 acupuncturists in the United States. That same year, there were 650,000 CPAs in the US. Clearly, I'm in the minority here. To paint you a picture of my second favorite oddball job, imagine bright lights, loud music like you're in the club, a cloud of smoke hanging over your head while people cheer and rake money to their side of the table. With me, dancing while dealing blackjack in a bikini. This was my first job after receiving my bachelor's degree. And I only worked 2 days per week. When I was encouraged to get my first full-time big girl job, because benefits are important, they only offered me 20% more than what I made dealing blackjack and dancing. So how was following the rules making me that much more money? I've rarely followed the conventional path. Get good grades, go to college, get married, buy a house, have babies, retire. Yes, I got good grades and went to college. But I also played the trombone, a boy's instrument. I like to think that my success as a musician was because of my talent. But the fact is, I am a tiny woman, and I play this big, loud, deep instrument that may have given me some appeal and made me stand out. Maybe. I've paved the way for other tiny women to take the road less traveled and get noticed too. A few years ago, I was listening to a podcast interview with the director of the documentary Heal. The documentary follows several people with chronic health conditions who are using mostly unconventional healing methods. The podcast, the two women, talked a lot about our healing power of our subconscious mind. After listening to the podcast and watching the documentary, I was lying in bed one night, in the hypnotic state, by the way, where creativity and intuition are at their highest, when I sat bolt upright in bed and thought to myself, what if I combined hypnotherapy with acupuncture? I could help my patients heal mind, body, and soul. Hypnopuncture is the most powerful tool I have in my arsenal. Plus, I get to teach this amazing technique to other acupuncturists. Of course, I was scared the first time I asked my patients if they wanted to try this new, woo-woo, crazy technique I developed. Even scarier was asking my colleagues, my peers, if they wanted to learn this newfangled technique from me. Of course I've had thoughts. Who am I to try to change the world? But if I get to fulfill my mission to transform the health of our planet in 2 generations or less, I can't stay in the safe zone and keep playing small. I get to change the world by being a pioneer and inspiring others to have the courage to step outside of their safe zone so they can have the success they've always dreamed of, desired, and deserve. Someone has to say it. Do the scary shit.